And here right now, we begin with breaking news at 11:30 live on the WHAS 1119. We're talking snowy weather and many crashes happened on 264 westbound in West Louisville involving several cars tonight. It started as a single car crash just after 10 o'clock, but as Metro police officer was responding to help there in the West End, somebody hit his cruiser up there on the expressway. LMPD tells us nobody was hurt, and we are bringing you a live look at the Trimark camera right now, focusing on that part of 264 westbound. It's been closed for a short time tonight, partially moving at some points through the evening, and you can see the snow all over the roadway. Police in the area say part of Cane Run over to Dumanil have iced over now due to the snowy conditions, and these are elevated sections of the roadway. They've also called out the state highway crews to put salt down on the roads here on this Christmas week. We're going to keep an eye on this to update you out throughout our newscast. Well, also here on the night team, it is a true winter night across Kentuckiana. This is what's been causing the problems. Take a look at this a couple of hours ago. A burst of snow flurries coming down right in downtown Louisville, floating around the light up Louisville lights, and now causing those dangerous road conditions in parts of the metro. Hello, everybody, and thank you very much for staying up late with us. I'm Doug Proffitt. We're checking in now with First Alert Storm Team meteorologist Colleen Peterson. Now, Colleen, you recorded that snow video. Give us the latest on the snow and where it's now and why it's causing so much trouble for the roads.
Doug, good news is that all of the snow is gone. Bad news is all of the snow that we've seen throughout the day is starting to freeze over, right? All of the roads are wet. Temperatures are in the 20s, so it is creating some dangerous conditions. Let's talk about that crash. We had that snow squall, which we just showed you the video of it in downtown, but the heaviest of snow was situated around Parkland and Shively. That was right around 9:20 p.m. and then that crash happened shortly after. Thankfully that they have one lane moving, but all along 264, where the heaviest of snow that we saw is yellow and red, and even down to the Gene Snyder, we are starting to see some icy conditions, some slow road reports here across town. So I think overnight tonight through the morning, this is what you need to be concerned with. Spotty ice freezing over from all of the wet roads out there. Make sure to drive safe, add some extra time to your morning commute. Radar right now, all that snow is clearing out, just a few flurries, but we have some cold temperatures in store overnight tonight. I'll have more information coming up. Doug.
Verdict Form 5, abuse of a corpse, as to Maurice Gordon. We, the jury, found the defendant guilty.
The late developing story we're following tonight, this happening just before 9:30 tonight. The jury in the triple murder trial of Bryce Rhodes finds him guilty of all of the charges facing him. Tonight, coming back with 6 different guilty verdicts to the relief of family members. The next decision in this case could be life in prison. We're going to learn that with his sentencing tomorrow. The killings and torture of 2 teenage brothers happened in 2016. Rhodes killed a man right in front of those brothers, and he killed them when they told their mother about the first murder. WHAS 11's Alexis Jones and photojournalist Emma Gefter have covered the short trial, and they were there tonight when the verdict came down.
After 3 hours of deliberations, the jury found Bryce Rhodes guilty of all charges. This includes 3 counts of murder, 2 counts of abuse of a corpse, and tampering with evidence.
We, the jury, found the defendant guilty.
The verdict came down around 9:30 Monday in all 6 different guilty verdicts, from murder to abuse of a corpse of the 2 teenage boys, leaving loved ones somber but pleased with the verdict.
Hello, Ms. Wren, would you like to speak?
Brothers Larry Ordways and Maurice Gordon's mother declined to speak. She and 40-year-old Christopher Jones's family plan to comment after sentencing. Each of them have been in the courtroom since proceedings began. Earlier, the defense rested its case despite not calling any witnesses to the stand. Judge Julie Kalin decided to push through to opening statements, starting with the defense.
It's important to remember what you actually saw, what we actually learned from the witness stand,
which defense attorney Tom Griffiths believes didn't add up to prosecutors' argument. Griffiths says prosecutors described the 2016 murder scene as monstrous and bloody. However, he says LMPD detectives didn't find anything until the second time they searched Bryce Rhodes' apartment. He also says witnesses remembered several adults were there when the brothers were killed, yet LMPD detectives blamed Rhodes.
When the police think they got their guy, that's what they do. And the problem is, sometimes they're right, but sometimes they're just wrong.
Because of this, he says detectives lied about evidence, especially the back seat of Rhodes' car. It had been removed. It's where the teens' bodies were placed.
We certainly don't have a car seat. We don't have one in this courtroom. You never saw one. I never saw one. But the police, under oath, said we got a car seat.
Prosecutors argue all the evidence points to the defendant. Attorney Elizabeth Jones Brown says this includes Rhodes' blood-stained carpet testing positive for Ordway's DNA, and co-defendant Ja'Cory Taylor saying Rhodes was the mastermind behind the triple homicides.
And he talked about doing anything he did at the direction of Bryce Rhodes. He talked about Bryce Rhodes wanting to kill Maurice and Larry and killing Maurice and Larry, wanting to kill Christopher Jones and killing Christopher Jones.
Ultimately, the jury agreed with the prosecution's argument.
I want to thank all of you for being so respectful throughout this trial. I most certainly hope that that continues.
Rhodes now faces life in prison. The trial's penalty phase is set to begin tomorrow at 1 p.m. In Louisville, Alexis Jones, WHAS 11 on your side.
There are 3 other co-defendants in this case who have already pleaded guilty in the murders. Taryn Coleman, Ja'Cory Lamont Taylor, and Anwan Carter were all teenagers when they were indicted. Carter and Taylor testified against Rhodes in this trial. New documents out today showing taxpayer dollars in southern Indiana paid for a vintage plane. Former Clark County, Indiana Sheriff Jamie Knoll is facing 15 felony charges in this case, and new search warrants released today that he purchased a 1958 single-engine plane. The warrants show that the plane is registered to the Utica Township Volunteer Fire Department, which Knoll, of course, runs. Here is a photograph of the actual plane. Records show Knoll bought 2 planes using Sheriff's Department money under the Clark County Sheriff's Aviation section, which he created. Investigators say the original owner sold it to Knoll with the understanding it was for his personal use. The plane will be seized as part of unlawfully obtained property in Knoll's case. He's facing charges related to corrupt business practices, ghost employment, official misconduct, theft, and tax evasion.
I collapsed. I didn't make it to the bathtub. They found me laying in front of the bathtub with my back up against it in the middle of the floor.
That's Rachel Hinderhan talking to the Night Team tonight. She and her family lost everything in this fire on Saturday at the East Lawn Apartment Complex in Jeffersonville. They were among the 7 people hospitalized, including a firefighter. Hinderhan's daughter jumped out of the building along with her fiance, who broke his leg and is still recovering in the hospital. Now they are left with nothing but the clothing right on their backs. WHAS 11 Night Team's Taylor Woods and photojournalist Elijah McKenzie talked to the family as they try to move forward.
The last 48 hours have been hard for the Hinderhan family. Everything ruined in Saturday's fire. Now they're left stranded with no housing or transportation.
We lost everything. We came out with what we had on our back.
Furniture and clothes left outside their once beautiful Christmas tree, now part of the debris, burned and covered with water destroyed from Saturday's fire at East Lawn Apartments in Jeffersonville. Rachel Hinderhan, her father, daughter, Angel, son-in-law, and grandson survived. Now all they have left is each other.
And I woke up not being able to breathe. My whole room was filled with black smoke. I look out my window and just see flames coming up the side of my apartment.
Angel jumped up looking for her family. Firefighters found her mother, Rachel, semi-unconscious in the bathroom. First responders immediately rendered aid.
Thought I lost my babies. I was worried about them.
Angel's fiance, Anthony, jumped out the window, landing straight down, shattering his leg. He was sent to U of L for surgery.
He came off the ventilator fully last night, and so far, by the grace of God, he's done really good so far.
But the last 2 days have been tough. With nowhere to stay, no clothes, and no car. The holiday just a week away. The family's Christmas tree and gifts are ruined.
Breaks your heart when you got a little 4-year-old that looks at you and says, me, Miss Santa Claus, gonna find me this year.
The Hinderhans have started a GoFundMe as they try to recover from Saturday's fire. The American Red Cross also gave them a small donation. They're looking for shelter, clothing, and hygiene products.
I don't have no family except for my aunt and them, and we really ain't spoke since 2019 when my brother committed suicide.
Rachel hopes someone can make this Christmas special for her grandson Malachi.
I don't even care if it's a little truck. just for Santa Claus to bring my grandson a little truck.
Hoping this will make their family smile through their pain. In Jeffersonville, Taylor Woods, WHAS 11 Night Team on your side.
You can go to our website, WHAS11.com, to find out more information about the GoFundMe that the family has now up and running. Louisville drug enforcement officials are putting families on notice. Deadly fake pills are being marketed to teenagers more than ever before. We're talking about fentanyl. DEA Louisville Special Agent in Charge Jeffrey Scott says the days of teenagers experimenting with drugs are effectively over. Now they could be paying with their lives. Agent Scott says now about 7 in 10 pills have fentanyl in them and that they are finding it in everything from cocaine to meth to marijuana. Even worse, he says teenagers are the target audience. He's urging parents to have those hard conversations.
Street corner is now your bedside. It's your phone. You know, particularly with our young adults who are media savvy, internet savvy, social media savvy, you know, their ability to order up fake pills and have it delivered right to their home, their dorm room, is a real change in some of the drug trafficking behavior and drug seeking behavior.
Less than a month ago, a 21-year-old Louisville man was sentenced to 13 years in prison for distribution of fentanyl, resulting in a death. New tonight, Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear doubling down on key priorities with this year's budget address and what he called his Forward Together budget. His focus was Kentucky's education in tonight's address. He wants to invest $1.1 billion to fund an 11% pay raise for teachers, bus drivers, and other staff. That would bring the starting teacher pay to just over $42,000 a year in Kentucky. His plan would also fund universal pre-K with $172 million each year. And Beshear wants to use $500 million in grant money for clean water. And in a move that would specifically impact Jefferson County, he wants to fund 2 new female-only juvenile detention centers.
These are the things that actually matter to our people, not red, not blue. These are the things that are important to everyone. This budget reflects our shared Kentucky values of family, faith, and community.
He also wants to fund the renovation of the Jefferson County Juvenile Center and helping with the overloaded foster care system. He hopes to create more resources for family members that step up to take care of kids in their custody. He plans to add $10 million a year to increase rates for these relative caregivers.
These projects are necessary because we cannot have low-level male offenders in the same areas as more violent offenders, and we must separate males and females in custody for their safety.
For the state workforce, he's proposing a 6% raise across the board. Governor Beshear emphasizes that in 10 of the last 12 years, these workers have not received a raise. So this is an effort now to catch up. Also today, we learned about a health scare for the Kentucky Lieutenant Governor, Jacqueline Coleman. She said in a statement concerns were raised at a recent doctor's appointment for her, and she has a family history of cancer. So she made the decision to go ahead with a double mastectomy. She went on to say, quote, "As Kentucky's highest elected teacher, it is only fitting that I leave you with a little homework. Schedule those preventative exams you've put off, hug your people a little tighter, and be kind, because everyone is fighting a battle you may not know about." The statement from Jacqueline Coleman tonight.